listening to ZB the Wulf on BWF USA, where it's not about the calls, it's about the... Back in the saddle again. It's ZB the Wulf on BWF USA, the show that makes you go, oh. Thanks again to Pat Burrell, Pat the Bat, for joining us last hour, talking a little bit playoff baseball, but we turn our attention now to the National Football League. Every week, we bring on Sheil Kapadia from The Athletic. Sheil, we got to start where I think everybody's eyes and ears are in the NFL these days, and that's down in Jacksonville. But before we get there, we know you from these radio segments. We've never had a chance to hang out in real life. What is couple adult beverages in? What is Sheil Kapadia like at the bar?
I think I'm probably a lot different than you are, Wulfman, and I know some of these topics we have in the NFL this week. I would just say make sure your producer has us on a delay. Make sure you don't lose your job over this, because my gosh, it has been a spicy week in the NFL. So I don't need to get into my personal life. Let's get into the football topics.
All right, so we've all seen the videos. We know the story. Urban goes out to his restaurant, has a couple daddy sodas, whatever you want to call them. And he gets caught on camera, getting a little handsy. Now, here's my question. The Jaguars put out this statement today. Are they as upset as they pretend to be if the Jaguars beat the Bengals last week, or is this just sort of cancel culture run amok?
Well, Wulfman, I could picture you maybe in that bar setting, hanging out with Urban Meyer there with some of the tales ZB has told me about your late night exploits. Listen, if you're an NFL coach, you don't want to have a headline on the wonderful website The Athletic that says your name apologizes for viral bar video. You specifically don't want to do that when you're 4 weeks into your tenure. You really don't want to do that when your tenure began with you hiring a disgraced strength coach who was, let go amid racist allegations, and then months later you bring Tim Tebow in as sort of this circus act into your training camp when there are hundreds of players who would love to just get into an NFL training camp. It's their dream, but no, you put on the show with Tim Tebow. You definitely don't want to do that when after week one your organization has to put out a statement saying you're committed to the organization because your name is already popping up with rumors linking you to USC, and you certainly don't want to do that when your team is 0-4 and looks like one of the least prepared teams in the entire NFL. So I don't know what more I can say about Urban Meyer. I mean, his team flies back to Jacksonville from Cincinnati. He stays behind. He says, wanted to see the grandkids. We've all seen the videos. Come on, Urban. Let's not pretend we're all fools here watching this. So I don't know if this thing is going to last until Halloween. This was something that seemed doomed from the get-go. It seems doomed now, and it's just a matter of when, not if, this charade ends.
This week's poll question: who is America's team, the Dallas Cowboys or the Jacksonville Jaguars? Get your opinion in now. I'm looking behind you, Sheil. I see you have that America's team poster. It doesn't look like football. I'm a football guy. And when you talk about football guys, how about Mike McCarthy? That's a football guy. His Dallas Cowboys are rolling. Are they pretenders or are they contenders?
Yeah, that's a very creative question prompt there, ZB. Thank you for putting a lot of time into this interview topic. They are contenders. The Dallas Cowboys, usually I come on here, you guys are asking me about the Cowboys every single time. I'm saying relax a little bit. We don't need to overhype the Dallas Cowboys. They haven't won anything in a very long time. However, this team is legit. I mean, if you watch what they did to the Carolina Panthers, it was just a reminder that this team can win in a variety of ways. Dak Prescott right now might be the most accurate quarterback in the NFL. He has such command at the line of scrimmage. He makes great decisions. He knows where to go with the football. Kellen Moore, I don't know if these announcers are getting paid to mention him for NFL head coaching jobs in the offseason. I'll tell you what, you mentioned the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm sure they wouldn't mind doing a little tradey poo there Urban Meyer for Kellen Moore. Stamp it right now. Everybody wins in that situation. Urban Meyer can go just hang out in Dallas with Jerry Jones. Good nightlife there. But Kellen Moore has been outstanding, really scheming that thing up. Their play calling is tremendous. They set stuff up in the first quarter that they want to use later in the game. They can hit on explosive plays. Their supporting cast talent is outstanding. They can string together methodical drives. They can run the football. So you know me, ZB. I always say if you can produce a top 5 offense in the NFL, you are a legit Super Bowl contender. That Dallas Cowboys offense, barring major injuries, that's going to be a top 5 offense.
Jerry Jones and Urban Meyer together in a room slaying drinks. Keep your friendly ladies away. That's all I got to say. Okay,
let's get Hard Knocks down there for that.
Let's talk about the only undefeated team in the league. Sheil, the Arizona Cardinals. Now, I didn't get a chance to watch that game, but everybody's talking about Kyler Murray, how dangerous he is. To me, I like my quarterbacks a little taller. I like my guys to be able to stand in the pocket. When you get to December and it's football time, it's crunching time, is a little guy like that really going to be able to hold up when it comes down to it?
You are very old school, Wulfman. We all know that from years and years of listening to you. Great backwards hat look you got going there, by the way. Kyler Murray can do it all.
This is a radio interview, I thought.
Yeah, he has been, there are other means here, Wulfman. He has been outstanding. I talked about the Cowboys being able to win in so many different ways. That's Kyler Murray. I mean, he can carve you up from the pocket, the touch on some of these deep passes to A.J. Green last week, to DeAndre Hopkins, outstanding. And then he can just break your back. There's this one play that really stands out from that win over the Rams. It's a 3rd and 12, I believe it was. The Rams have this outstanding call where they're basically flushing Kyler Murray out of the pocket to his left side. They got linebacker Kenny Young waiting right there to take him down. You know what Kyler Murray does? Gives him a little juke, scoots to the sideline, picks up the first down with his leg. So he is playing at a high level. Before the season, I thought the Cardinals were a very tough team to project because the first half of last year, that offense was outstanding. The second half of last year, they were terrible. Well, Kyler Murray was healthy the first half of last year. Then he suffers a shoulder injury, and now it's leading me to believe that, as long as he's healthy, when he's not injured, that is going to be an outstanding offense. So big win for the Arizona Cardinals. Kyler Murray is my MVP through the first 4 weeks of the season.
Our crunching the numbers segment this week is brought to you by Morris Mugs. If you have a lot on your plate, make sure you have a lot in your mug. Get your fill at Morris Mugs. Bill Belichick sent his kicker onto the field for a 56-yard field goal to try to win the game. By the way, Sheil, I got to tell you, the NFL needs to get our promotions department out there. I didn't even know this game was being played. Tom Brady going back to New England, you would think you would hear something about it every now and then. But I'm watching this game, and I see Bill Belichick on 4th down. Is he going to keep Mac Jones on the field? Is he going to send his kicker? What'd you think of that decision? What'd you think of that game?
I'm surprised, ZB, knowing how much you're on social media. I know you're big on TikTok. I thought you would have heard about that game. I thought it actually did have a reasonable amount of hype around it. It was overall, for most of the game, it was somewhat boring, I thought. There wasn't a lot going on in the actual game. It was raining. The teams weren't really moving the ball. I didn't like the move by Bill Belichick. I know you two are not the biggest proponents of analytics. To me, you don't even have to look at the data here. If you're facing an all-time great quarterback and you have a chance to make a decision that's not going to allow for him to get back on the field and win the football game, go ahead and make that decision. And so that's why I think 4th and 3, go ahead, send Mac Jones out there. I mean, they were completing a lot of passes in the short passing game. Run the clock a little bit, try to get closer for a field goal, and then kick the field goal so that Tom Brady is not back on the field. I mean, even if he makes that 56-yard field goal, you're giving Tom Brady the football back with timeouts in his pocket with a chance to go ahead and win the game. I think he would have gone ahead and won the game. So the Bucs, listen, their defense, a lot of questions there, injured in the secondary. I think they're going to be great on offense. As for the Patriots, a lot with that short passing game. Watching that broadcast, you would have thought Mac Jones threw for like 380 and 7 touchdowns or something. I think he's making good decisions. I think he's executing that quick passing game, but not a lot of juice to that offense. So they have to win in a very specific way. And, I don't know how many games that team is going to win this year.
Well, one Sunday night football game to another, Sheil. Big matchup this week. The Chiefs and the Bills. Who do you got?
Wow, you're already asking me for predictions. Middle of the week, I'm going through the film. I'm trying to review the data. I'm trying to tie a bow on last week. You always hit me with these questions towards the end. Like I've got to go on the record with the prediction with you two bozos. And then if I change my mind after I do my reporting and research in a couple days, I'll come back on next week and you'll say, you said one thing with us and another thing in your wonderful column on The Athletic. But you know what?
Classic millennial whining.
I'm going to be a team player here. I'm going to give this about 3 seconds of thought, and I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills. The Bills' offense has not clicked on a week-to-week basis, but against that Chiefs defense, the Philadelphia Eagles went up and down the field on that Chiefs defense last week. So I absolutely think the Bills will be able to move the football, and defensively, they've been very good so far this season. 40-0 last week, 35-0 against the Dolphins a couple weeks ago. I know Patrick Mahomes is a different animal than the guys they faced so far, so I'm not saying they're going to shut him down, but can they create a little bit of pressure? Can they create a takeaway or two? I think they can. I think the Bills are dangerous. I don't think they've hit their stride quite yet, and they're still blowing teams out, so I'll go with Buffalo pulling off the upset.
All right, Sheil, let's give you to your safe space. Why don't you give us your plugs?
That's right. Twitter, Sheil Kapadia. Instagram, @Sheil Kapadia. You can follow me in those two places. I don't have all these other social media networks that I think you guys do, that the station has. Maybe the station could plug my accounts a little bit more, get the audience going in my direction. You're not even giving me any gift cards to restaurants. You're not paying me for this. I'm using my valuable time. So, juice up the national Sheil Kapadia brand a little bit if you don't mind.
All right, Sheil Kapadia from The Athletic. We'll talk to him again next week. Thanks for joining us. We are back on the other side, ZB and the Wulf, to hear about ZB's trip to Urban Chop House. He's got some stories to tell.